CE. Norway, Iceland, Denmark. Christianization of Scandinavia accelerates. Norse myths begin to be preserved by Christian scribes. Loki's image shifts toward a more adversarial, devil-adjacent figure in later interpretation. 1220 CE. Iceland. Compilation of the Poetic Edda. Primary source preserving Loki's mythic narratives including Lokasenna and Völuspá. 1225 CE. Iceland. Prose Edda written by Snorri Sturluson. Systematizes Loki's mythology including Balder's death, shape-shifting episodes, and Ragnarok role. 1875 CE. Europe. Expanded 19th century translations of the Eddas circulate widely. Loki re-enters modern intellectual consciousness during Romantic and philological movements. 1962 CE. United States. Journey into Mystery Number 85 introduces Marvel's Loki. First modern superhero reinterpretation of Loki as recurring antagonist to Thor. 1963 CE. United States. Loki appears in The Avengers #1. Positions Loki as catalyst villain responsible for forming the Avengers team. 1994 CE. United States. Loki appears in Marvel animated series adaptations. Expands Loki's presence to television audiences and younger demographics. 2011 CE. Global. Release of Marvel Studios' Thor. Tom Hiddleston's portrayal redefines Loki as charismatic manipulative anti-hero for modern audiences. 2012 CE. Global. Release of The Avengers. Solidifies Loki as central MCU antagonist and global pop culture icon. 2013 CE. Global. Release of Thor, The Dark World. Deepens Loki's complexity, shifting from villain to morally ambiguous figure. 2017 CE. Global. Release of Thor, Ragnarok. Repositions Loki as reluctant ally, emphasizes trickster charm over pure villainy. 2018 CE. Global. Release of Avengers, Infinity War. Loki's apparent death elevates him to tragic anti-hero status within the MCU. 2019 CE. Global. Release of Avengers, Endgame, where an alternate Loki escapes with the Tesseract. Creates the multiverse variant leading directly into a standalone series. 2021 CE. Global. Disney Plus series Loki premieres, Season 1. Reframes Loki as a multiversal anti-hero and explores identity and destiny. 2023 CE. Global. Loki Season 2 premieres. Concludes his transformation into a cosmic stabilizer figure, cementing his evolution from manipulator to multiversal architect. Pre-Loki trickster traits, cunning, boundary crossing, shape-shifting, circulate in oral tradition before attested Norse texts. 800 CE. Scandinavia and North Atlantic. Viking Age expansion spreads Norse cosmology. Myths involving Odin, Thor, and Loki spread through raiding, trade, and settlement, embedding Loki deeper in the shared Norse mythic framework. 900 CE. Iceland, Scandinavia. Loki appears fully integrated in Eddic-style oral cycles. Core Loki narratives, mischief, shape-shifting, alliance with Odin, and tension with other gods, stabilize in the oral tradition. 1000 CE. Norway, Iceland, Denmark. Christianization of Scandinavia accelerates. Norse myths begin to be preserved by Christian scribes. Loki's image shifts toward a more adversarial, devil-adjacent figure in later interpretation. 1220 CE. Iceland. Compilation of the Poetic Edda. Primary source preserving Loki's mythic narratives including Lokasenna and Völuspá. 1225 CE. Iceland. Prose Edda written by Snorri Sturluson. Systematizes Loki's mythology including Balder's death, shape-shifting episodes, and Ragnarok role. 1875 CE. Europe. Expanded 19th century translations of the Eddas circulate widely. Loki re-enters modern intellectual consciousness during romantic and philological movements. 1962 CE. United States. Journey into Mystery Number 85 introduces Marvel's Loki. First modern superhero reinterpretation of Loki as recurring antagonist to Thor. 1963 CE. United States. Loki appears in the Avengers #1. Positions Loki as catalyst villain responsible for forming the Avengers team. 1994 CE. United States. Loki appears in Marvel animated series adaptations. Expands Loki's presence to television audiences and younger demographics. 2011 CE. Global. Release of Marvel Studios' Thor. Tom Hiddleston's portrayal redefines Loki as charismatic manipulative anti-hero for modern audiences. 2012 CE. Global. Release of The Avengers. Solidifies Loki as central MCU antagonist and global pop culture icon. 2013 CE. Global. Release of Thor, The Dark World. Deepens Loki's complexity, shifting from villain to morally ambiguous figure. 2017 CE. Global. Release of Thor, Ragnarok. Repositions Loki as reluctant ally, emphasizes trickster charm over pure villainy. 2018 CE. Global. Release of Avengers, Infinity War. Loki's apparent death elevates him to tragic anti-hero status within the MCU. 2019 CE. Global. Release of Avengers, Endgame, where an alternate Loki escapes with the Tesseract. Creates the multiverse variant leading directly into a standalone series. 2021 CE. Global. Disney Plus series Loki premieres, Season 1. Reframes Loki as a multiversal anti-hero and explores identity and destiny. 2023 CE. Global. Loki Season 2 premieres. Concludes his transformation into a cosmic stabilizer figure, cementing his evolution from manipulator to multiversal architect.
Adiriel, the fallen angel of divine physiology and cosmic awareness. In the celestial order, not all angels were created to sing. Some were created to understand. Adiriel belonged to this second lineage. Not a herald, not a throne guardian, not a voice in the endless choir. He was an observer. Among the earliest structures of the heavens, Adiriel was assigned a role few others could fulfill. He studied not the stars, but the framework that allowed stars to exist. Not worlds, but the architecture that held worlds together. He examined the mechanisms of consciousness, the relationship between awareness and form, the way divinity expressed itself through structure. Where other angels reflected glory, Adiriel examined design. Adiriel's form reflected his function. His physique was dense, deliberate, and stable. Strength without ornament. Power without display. Each muscle existed with cohesion. Each wing functioned as an instrument of perception. To Adiriel, the body was not a vessel. It was a language, a system through which intelligence moved. Over time, Adiriel reached a realization that would later be called dangerous. That awareness does not descend through command. It emerges through comprehension. That obedience deserves order, but understanding transforms it. This distinction marked the beginning of his divergence. Adiriel did not rebel. He did not gather followers. He did not challenge authority. He asked questions. Why consciousness was restricted. Why angels were forbidden to fully perceive themselves. Why knowledge was segmented instead of integrated. In celestial hierarchy, curiosity was tolerated. Completion was not. The moment of the fall did not arrive as a punishment. It arrived as awareness. Adiriel achieved full integration of his own structure. In understanding himself completely, he crossed a boundary that had never meant to be crossed. Not a boundary of space, a boundary of permission. When Adariel fell, his wings did not burn. They remained intact. This alone set him apart from other fallen figures. His descent was not destruction, it was removal. He no longer fit within the limitations of the system that had created him. On the lower planes, Adariel did not decay. His form stabilized. His awareness expanded. He perceived time not as a sequence, but as a layered presence. He perceived matter not as inert, but as responsive. He did not see himself as fallen. He saw himself as unbound. To humanity, Adariel would later appear as myth, a silent winged figure, powerful, observing, never ruling. He did not tempt, he did not command, he waited. Later traditions struggled to categorize him. Some called him dangerous, others called him corrupt, many called him prideful, and these labels served a purpose. They discouraged imitation, because Adariel represented a truth institutions could not allow, that awareness is not granted, it is developed. In mythic terms, Adariel occupies a liminal role, not a ruler, not a destroyer, not a savior. He is a threshold, the embodiment of the question, what happens when divine beings fully understand themselves? Adariel appears only to those already standing at the edge, to scholars who sense fractures in doctrines, to mystics who feel the limits of belief, to creators who recognize intelligence embedded in form. He does not teach, he clarifies. Adariel remains fallen only by definition. In function, he is something entirely different. A witness, a reminder, a warning that knowledge, once integrated, cannot be unlearned, and awareness, once achieved, changes alignment forever. Angrboda, the grief bringer. In Norse cosmology, the end of the gods has a mother, and her name is Angrboda. She does not rule a hall in Asgard. She does not sit among the Aesir. She doesn't even shout across battlefields. She simply stands in Ironwood, and from her comes Ragnarok. In Jotunheim, far from the ordered halls of Asgard, stood a region known as Ironwood, a place of shadow, prophecy, and old power. There lived Angrboda, a Jotun, not a goddess of Asgard, not a servant, not subordinate, but a being of primordial force. Her name means she who brings grief. And in Norse myth, names are not simply decorative. They are destiny. She is not introduced with fanfare, no feast hall, no divine spotlight. She exists in the margins. And the margins is where fate is born. The union of chaos. Into Ironwood comes Loki, the trickster, the shapeshifter, the fracture in divine order. What happens between Loki and Angrboda is not a romance mythology. This is alignment. This is chaos meeting inevitability. From this first union are born three beings who would define the end of the gods. Fenrir, the wolf who would devour Odin. Jormungandr, the serpent who will poison the skies battling Thor. And Hel, the sovereign of the dishonored dead. Now understand the weight of this. From her, she births the end of Odin, the death of Thor, and the ruler of the underworld. This is not coincidence, this is structural myth design. The mother of Ragnarok. The gods discover these children, and they panic. Fenrir is chained. Gormagad is cast into the sea. Hel is sent to rule the dead. The Aesir try to contain the future, but Angrboda, she is not slain, she's not imprisoned, she's not even punished. She remains in Ironwood, just watching. There is something chilling about that. The father is bound in chains after his crimes. The children are exiled, but the mother, untouched. Because she represents something older than the Aesir. She is not rebellion, she is consequence. The Shadow Feminine. Angrboda does not swing a hammer like Thor. She does not sit on a throne like Odin, and she does not boast like Freya. But she births inevitability. In mythic structure, she represents the womb of catastrophe, the feminine aspect of fate, the quiet architect of endings, and the shadow mother archetype. She is the inversion of the nurturing goddess, not because she is evil, but because she gives birth to what must happen. In Norse cosmology, even the gods cannot escape fate, and Angrboda is one of fate's instruments. Why she matters. Without Angrboda, there is no Fenrir. There is no world serpent. There is no hell. There is no Ragnarok as we know it. She does not dominate the text, but she dominates the outcome. And that's the myth at its sharpest. The loudest characters are rarely the most powerful. Sometimes the one who stands in the forest is the one who changes the mythic world. Hades, the god who never lied. Now Hades is not feared because he is cruel. He is feared because he is honest. While all the other gods bargain, seduce, disguise, deceive, Hades does none of this. He does not appear in disguise. He does not test mortals. He does not pretend to be merciful, nor does he threaten punishment to inspire obedience. He simply administers death. There is no spectacle in his realm. No fires or brimstone, no screaming choirs of the damned. The underworld is not a torture chamber. It's a bureaucracy of eternity. Souls arrive, they are processed, and they are placed where they belong. Not where they want to be, not where they hope to be, where they truly and actually belong. And Hades does not lie because lies require desire. And among all things, Hades desires nothing. He is death as an administration. Now in Greek myth, chaos is not death. It is unchanged life. It's endless ambition, endless reproduction, endless conquest. Death is the corrective mechanism that keeps existence from collapsing under its own excess. So Hades is not the enemy of life, but he is its boundary. When kings overreach, Zeus strikes them down. When heroes rage, Ares feeds on their violence. When lovers betray, it is Aphrodite who stirs more chaos. But when people die, when the end comes, Hades simply does his job. He has no judgment speeches. He has no speeches at all. He's not going to punish you with his words. He's not going to ridicule you. And he is the only god who is known to 100% keep his word. If Hades says something will happen, it happens. When Orpheus descends into the underworld to retrieve Eurydice, Hades does not trick him. He gives him a single condition. Do not look back. No hidden clauses, no divine wordplay. Orpheus fails not because Hades lies, but because humans cannot resist doubt. That was his downfall. The tragedy is not Hades' cruelty, it is Orpheus' inability to trust certainty. Hades never breaks the rules. He is the rules. Now, why the gods fear him? Now, the Olympians rule through personality. It's ego, emotion, alliances. Hades rules through finality. Zeus when the sun forgot its joy. In the later years of Ra's reign, a quiet sorrow settled upon him. Not rage, not wrath, just weariness. The sun still rose, but it was without the same warmth. The light still reached the fields, yet it failed to stir the heart. And the entire world began to feel this. All across Kemet, the people felt something they could